Good morning. Please be seated. Good morning to everybody. Welcome to this recognition ceremony for the 757 incredible members of the class of 2019. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let me be the first person up here to offer you special congratulations today from everyone in the Columbia Business School family. I have personally enjoyed working with many of you in class. You're very special to me because you are the last set of hands I'll have the pleasure of shaking as dean. So I promise to try to get it right. Now, collectively, your class is extraordinary and extraordinarily diverse. You come from 57 different countries, as far as Brazil, Lebanon, Switzerland, and the Philippines. Okay? You speak 45 different languages and dialects, including Finnish, Tamil, Thai, Ukrainian, Yoruba, and people tell me, English. You come from countless industries and professional backgrounds, and among you are, of course, consultants and financiers, but also hikers, beekeepers, Bollywood dancers, power lifters, world travelers, and entrepreneurs of every stripe. I hope you take pride in all that you have accomplished. And indeed, 3 of you have done exceptionally well academically during your time at school and are graduating. I said exceptionally, you've all done well, and are graduating with a grade point average of 10.0 or higher. Congrats for those. Now, today, this morning, you join a new community, a vibrant community of alumni who are decision makers and leaders at the center of business. They're entrepreneurs, they're industry pioneers and game changers, a network of 46,500 individuals who do both influential and important work that changes the world. You've been, of course, working toward fulfilling that role since the day you got here. For orientation, we all challenged you to be active, to be engaged members of the community. I know I speak for all my faculty colleagues in saying you have more than met this challenge as students on campus, whether by serving your classmates through formal channels like the peer advisor program and student government, or playing a role in the successful execution of Columbia Forever or Women's Week, lending an invaluable voice at club meetings and events, or just sharing your ideas about your MBA experience. Collectively, today is the moment we set aside so that we in the faculty and administration at Columbia Business School, together with your family and your friends, can celebrate you and your accomplishments and wish you continued success. I know you leave the school well-equipped as leaders, as thinkers, ready to have a real impact, and I look forward to seeing the change you'll make in your professional lives and in your communities. And I'd like you to take a moment to acknowledge with your applause the people who have supported your time here, in particular your friends and family and everyone here who's worked with you. Individually, you've been exposed to thought leadership that is always informed in real time by the business world around us. Research from the school's faculty influences the practice of business in every sector. The curriculum you have seen has taught you to be able to create an opportunity in any environment. And thanks to our physical position here in New York, you have been able to see myriad industries and visionary business leaders on campus and in high-impact internships in every possible industry. The reputation, the strength of Columbia Business School has equipped you with the knowledge and access you'll need to continue to make the impact you make in business and beyond. As an alum, that reputation, that strength will continue to provide you with connections and support to help foster the creativity I know is in you, invite entrepreneurial thinking, and open more doors. You couldn't be better prepared. But I have to tell you and share with you what makes me proudest to be your dean. It's to remind you that with the rewards of your MBA, and I hope and believe they will be substantial for you, also comes responsibility. What does it really mean to be a graduate of a school like Columbia Business School? We all hope and expect that you recall that we are and have always been a place that's in the business of value and values. Yes, we are proud to be the birthplace of value investing. Okay, some fans out there. My colleagues and I certainly strive to add value in all disciplines, but I want you to remember today that personal values matter and matter most in the workplace and in your broader life. So as you rise in your career, remember all the discussions you've had here in leadership and ethics, which I hope inspire you to give back in your community writ large and to students here as they come up as you did in the Columbia Business School spirit. Fortunately, you have so many extraordinary examples to follow in your fellow alumni. Just thinking back even over my time as dean, I think of alumni like Donnell Baird. His company, Block Power, trains unconventional employees to install energy-efficient technology for small businesses, not-for-profits, in underserved communities, slashing both energy costs, a good thing in business, and CO2 emissions, a good thing socially. In 2012, just before he graduated here, he received the Echoing Green and Open Society Foundation's Black Male Achievement Fellowship, which supports work to improve life outcomes for African American men. Another example, Shazi Visram, class of 2004. Shazi founded Happy Family. It's the leading premium organic baby and toddler food brand in America. Before its sale, it ranked #2 among food and beverages companies generally in Inc. magazine's annual listing of the 500 fastest growing companies. The same year, the magazine named Shazi among its 10 best female entrepreneurs. She launched the idea in business school, now serves on the school's board, and sold the stake she had in Happy Family to Danone. Meanwhile, also in those years when John Stein, class of 2009, was just a novice investor, he thought he could do better than what his economics professors had drilled into him. That's a dangerous thought when you ever have that. The thought he wanted to reject was that the market portfolio was the optimal one. So after his first stock pick, which was Enron, failed, and after deciding to finally heed economists' advice, he created Betterment, an online investment advisor which offers consumers a better, a more convenient way to invest in the market portfolio. The company's been dubbed the Apple of finance, and today has 400,000 customers who've invested more than $16 billion. More broadly, over a longer period, you might think of Jerry Speyer, or Lee Cooperman, or Henry Kravis, Lulu Wang, Robert Smith, Russ Carson, Shelley Lazarus, Tracy Travis, Art Sandberg, Warren Buffett, Jerry Chazen, Vikram Pandit, James Gorman, Jamie Kern Lima, Tim Campos, or any of 46,500 amazing men and women. Those names, that community, that network is yours. It's an asset. Like all assets, I encourage you to stay connected to it and to consume its returns. So what really happens this morning? What's the special magic? In one sense, the familiar sense, you're going to graduate. You will become part of that alumni network that I just described. You go from being a student to making your further mark in the world, like Miriam Banakaram, who will be presented Wednesday with the Alumni Medal for Service to the entire university. It's with precisely these thoughts in mind that we celebrate your graduation from a great business school today. This is a world-class institution that marries what we do in the university, scholarship, theory, new frontiers of knowledge, with real-world business practice in a community of creative and diverse individuals. I think it's the honor of all of my colleagues on the faculty to be able to work with you, and I'm particularly proud to be your dean. But it's not the word graduation that I have in mind today. It's easy to be reflective like that, but I prefer a more old-fashioned term for what happens this morning, and the term is commencement. And I like it because it has an explicit reference to beginnings. This morning, you will begin again a life of engagement in business and society. You have much to contribute to both, and I know you will. Most of all, never ever forget what a noble calling business is and the power that lies within each and every one of you to transform not only the lives of financial statements and other business leaders and entrepreneurs, but your fellow alumni, communities, and nations around the world. Never forget that your MBA is really a master of choices. What matters most to all of us is not the change jingling in your pocket after commencement, but the change you're about to make in the world. Again, give yourselves a round of applause and congratulations. It is now my great privilege to welcome our distinguished speaker this morning, Carol Sodai. I am proud to say, class of 1991. When all of you first arrived on campus, I think I and others encouraged you to think like an entrepreneur. What we meant by that was seizing opportunity whenever and wherever it may lie, which is precisely what Carol has done in her career, even when it means taking giant leaps of faith. And that's why she's a great speaker for you today. She started her career at PricewaterhouseCoopers, where she served Fortune 500 public clients with a primary focus on media and entertainment. 11 years after joining the firm, she became a partner, obviously a moment of great pride. But 6 years later, after the life-changing events of September 11th, she reevaluated her career and decided to leave the company for a leadership role as CFO at the famous law firm of Skadden Arps. Now, leaving the security of PwC and the long-term fit is, of course, a risk, but it allowed her to spend the next 8 years making a significant impact in a new place, leading exciting projects and serving on a great executive team. 8 years later, she found herself joining the National Basketball Association, where she was CFO and executive vice president during pivotal moments in the NBA's history. In 2012, after remaining in touch with her PwC network, she was asked to rejoin the company as CFO. Today, after coming 360 full circle, she's the Chief Operating Officer for PwC Network, leading the entire network operations, driving the budgeting, financial planning, and investments throughout the network, and collaborating with the entire global leadership team. Her story can be your story. Ultimately, the goal of Columbia Business School is for every graduate to be an outstanding leader on a journey like Carol. Taking risks, pursuing passion, trusting in the journey. Please help me welcome Carol Sodai.
Wow, I have to say this is awesome. I mean, the energy in this room and seeing everybody walk in was just, it was humbling to me. So thank you again for asking me to do this. And thank you, Dean, for that kind introduction. And congratulations to you on your 15-year tenure as the head of this really awesome institution. So there's no question that on his watch, the Columbia Business School has staked its rightful place at the very center of business. I couldn't be prouder to call myself a graduate. So in just a few short minutes, 757 of you will join me in that distinction. So again, congratulations, Dean Hubbard, and congratulations to the Columbia Business School class of 2019. And to your parents, spouses, children on the way for a few of you, and other loved ones celebrating with you today, they shared in the grind these last couple years, and they now get to share in the glory with you. So turn to your sides and turn around and thank them as well. So I'm painfully aware that I stand between you and that hard-earned MBA, but I'm relishing having you as a captive audience for a little bit. I'll try to be short, but I'll try to give you some insights as well. So I have to admit, this is a cathartic moment for me. My life has really come full circle to the time and place that really forged me as a person. When I walked the halls of URIS some 30 years ago, and by the way, it's hard to believe you're all still in URIS Hall, I was 25, on the fast track to partnership at then Price Waterhouse, which sponsored my MBA. Then the walls caved in. I was diagnosed with cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma, after my first semester here. My doctors told me I had a 50-50 shot of surviving past 30. I didn't quit school. I didn't run away to an ashram or go bungee jumping. I didn't chase miracle cures or exotic clinical trials. I just turned towards the cancer. I confronted it head on. I showed up for class, and I showed up for chemo. And in 1991, I'm very proud to say, I graduated with the rest of my cluster and got my MBA. But I didn't have this moment. I didn't walk up to the podium to receive my degree. I was too spent to attend graduation. And that's why the invitation to come here to speak and address you today is so meaningful to me. So I really thank you. So candidly, there aren't many advantages to getting cancer, especially at a young age, and I truly don't recommend it. But I'll tell you, it has a way of focusing the mind and crystallizing your priorities. And it really gave me a great leg up on overcoming some principal impediments to happiness and fulfillment, and that's fear. I grew up in a very conservative household. My parents were and are very practical people, a chemist and an engineer. They'd always believed in a strong work ethic, a frugal lifestyle, and the avoidance of risk. So very important to them. Don't take unnecessary risks. So my career as an accountant was essentially preordained. It took cancer for me to realize that fear had been a guiding force in my life. The guardrails on the treadmill I was on. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of dependence. The author and cartoonist James Thurber once wrote, "All human beings should try and learn before they die what they're running from and to and why." I want to repeat that for you. All human beings should try and learn before they die what they're running from and to and why. It's actually a marvelous exercise, and it doesn't require a life-threatening illness. So I recommend that to all of you. Those of you sitting in front of me in the light blue robes know what I'm talking about. You made a conscious choice to step off the treadmill when you applied to Columbia Business School over 2 years ago. It was a risk. Mind you, a calculated one to be sure, but you chose to further your education and accept the sacrifices, personal, professional, and financial, that might entail. I chose to do the same. I chose to round out my business credentials and explore broader career horizons by gutting it out here first at Columbia. And I'm here to reassure you, it was all worth it. About 10 years after completing my treatment for Hodgkin's, I left the comfort and security of a partnership at PwC to take a job as CFO of Skadden Arps, a prominent law firm. It was truly an eye-opening and extraordinary 8 years of experience where I ultimately became the Chief Operating Officer. From there, I leapt into the deep end of the pool at the NBA as Executive Vice President and CFO, and a member of the Commissioner's negotiation team for the new collective bargaining agreement with the players. I'm proud to say that that agreement is largely in place today. So, this wasn't a slam dunk, sorry. I had to make that pun. In fact, the job initially was to financially prepare the league and the teams for the worst case scenario, that we'd be out for at least a full season. But we got it done, and it stands out as one of my most rewarding professional achievements. I can honestly say I would never have left PwC had I not had the cancer scare, and my life and career would have been poorer for it. So now I'm back at PwC in a global leadership role I might never have held had I stayed. The perspective and experience I gained outside of the firm actually enhanced my value within it, and they recruited me back. So what's the lesson here? Life is short. Take calculated risks. Embrace the unknown. These are commencement cliches, I understand, but there's a pretty good reason for that. It's actually really good advice. But don't take away the lesson cancer makes you special. I know I'm not alone here in dealing with a cancer diagnosis, either your own or that of a loved one. I would hazard to guess, in fact, that the majority of the people here have had some similar experience. But as the patient, I can tell you, and fellow survivors here will likely agree, you are alone. And that's where my advice becomes more universal. Much as we may be surrounded by love and support, we forge our life and career path alone, and that the only person that you and I ultimately answer to is ourselves. Just look in the mirror in the morning and take note of who is looking back at you and holding you accountable. So be very, very conscious and deliberate about the choices you make. Make sure they feel right for you. These are the choices that will further your aspirations and your happiness. Take it from me when I say, don't let fear steal your happiness. I almost did. Don't do it. Each and every one of you came to Columbia Business School for your own reasons, and you'll graduate with your own learnings and ambitions, your own dreams and disappointments. I know that teamwork and collaboration were woven into the very fabric of your business school experience, as well they should be. But don't forget what makes you you, and what the privacy of your own thoughts you are running from and to, and why. So 7 years ago, at the age of 45, my husband, Jono, a born and bred New Yorker and successful media and technology entrepreneur, found his calling as a restaurateur in Savannah, Georgia, no less. And a very successful one at that. You should actually Google it. It's called The Gray. In your class, you have a world-class marathoner, a rugby player, a boxer, a ping pong champion. There's a Eucharistic minister and a rabbi, and an NYPD auxiliary police officer. Artistic and musical talent abounds in this room. And we have a top sommelier in the house, Yonila. We might want to talk afterwards. I bet you'd love the South. This is clearly a class that already knows there is more to life than work. You have followed your bliss and have already made real impact in and on your communities. The best advice I can offer is to know yourself, pursue your passions, be your own best advocate, and success will follow. Stand on your own 2 feet. But there's a flip side to that. You must allow and encourage those you love to do the same. My job is in New York. My marriage is in Savannah. We make it work, sort of. I'm not sure my dogs, Otter and Anchovy, always agree. We sacrifice and compromise what matters to us, and our relationship is the richer for it. Our arms have been locked together for 27 years now. You can't do it all. You can't have it all. You will suffer setbacks. In addition to battling cancer, my husband and I have lived through the Northridge earthquake, 9/11, Hurricane Sandy, and most recently, yes, the Paris Yellow Vest protests. We've lived through some stuff, and so will you. Think of them all as learning moments. So if there's one quality I am an enormous fan of, one which I strongly encourage you to cultivate, it's resilience. At PwC, we introduced a program called Be Well, Work Well 3 years ago. I'm a real champion for this program because hard experience has taught me the importance of intentionally focusing on one's health. Be Well, Work Well is all about encouraging a culture of well-being in the workplace across the 4 dimensions of energy: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. But you don't need a corporate sponsorship to focus on your well-being. After poo-pooing much of this as a young go-getter, I'm a real convert now. I meditate every day. I get 8 hours of sleep. I walk to work 5 days a week. I practice gratitude, and I reserve a lot of time for laughing with my friends and family. You can't begin to care for, love, or support others if you haven't invested in your own wellness. These are the true ingredients of a good life. So to conclude, let me congratulate you once again on this seminal occasion. You've done it. Relish and take pride in your accomplishments, and remember as you make life and career choices from this day forward, what you're running from and to and why. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those wonderful words. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Briana Sadler, not class of 91, but class of 19. Like Carol, Briana has also embraced career twists and turns. Born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, where my father's from, Briana earned a bachelor's degree from Columbia University in 2014. She intended to pursue a career in law or academia, but in the years following graduation, she became increasingly interested in the intersection of business and social impact, leading her to join Decision Resources Group, where she specialized in consumer health trends. It was that career move that was also the impetus for her to pursue an MBA. At Columbia Business School, Briana has served as co-president of Cluster Q, the co-chair of CBS Reflects, and a peer advisor. She's a Laidlaw Scholar, a Columbia Fellow, and when she's not busy in the classroom or at community events, she spends her time with LGBTQ advocacy, serving as a pro bono consultant for the Brooklyn Community Pride Center, and as a steering committee member of the annual Out Women in Business Conference. After graduation today, Briana will join A.T. Kearney as an associate. She's an outstanding citizen of this community and beyond, so please join me in welcoming Briana to the stage.
Thank you, Dean Hubbard, for that kind introduction. And thank you to Carol for joining us today. Thank you to my classmates for giving me the opportunity to speak on your behalf today. This is, no doubt, a momentous occasion, a bookend or a bookmark. In many ways, the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. And because of that, it would be tempting to imbue my speech with platitudes, with something to placate you all, my fellow graduates, our esteemed faculty and administration, and all of the friends and families gathered here today. Perhaps I would parrot something like, "The world is your oyster," or "The future, it belongs to you." But the truth is, the world is not your oyster. And despite what you may think, your future does not solely belong to you. While a Columbia Business School education has no doubt cracked open and exposed a whole new world of opportunity, the world is still not ours. It is still not yours to have or to take. You see, the world, it belongs to many other people as well. And the future, it greatly depends on how all people, most of whom are not Columbia Business School graduates, how they partake in it. Even beyond that, the future depends on our capacity as graduates of this school to engage empathetically with each other and with those around us. But simply put, empathy is hard. It requires us to be an extension of ourselves. And perhaps what is most frightening about it is that it has the capacity to contort our own realities beyond recognition. It has the potential to fundamentally shift our worldview, to reframe every aspect of our lives. No doubt, it is much safer, much easier, and in many ways, much more pleasant to remain within the confines of our own psyches, comforted by our own narrow perception of the world, by its truth, and by its realities. The irony is hardly lost on me that this morning I am the one tasked with speaking to and for this graduating class. I'm the person with the singular responsibility of representing all of you when, quite frankly, I, as the only gay Black woman at this school for the past 2 years, I have so often felt like none of you. And because of that, here on this campus, I have spent a lot of time thinking about empathy and difference, and more specifically, how empathy, with all of its power to contort, to shift, to reframe, how empathy can work to span seemingly impassable gulfs of difference. I, like all of you, stepped onto this campus brimming with excitement, with anticipation. And when I first saw our peer advisors lined up outside of Uris Hall, screaming in our faces at 8 a.m., I was also a bit apprehensive. I, like all of you, had familiarized myself with everything that Columbia Business School had to offer, from classes to clubs and everything in between. I, like all of you, also doubt if our new campus will be built anytime in the next 50 years. But also, like the poet Naira Waheed, I am increasingly wary and skeptical of anyone who says that they do not see color or gender or religion or socioeconomic status or country of origin. It means that to that person, you are invisible. Because while we share a common thread, a common experience, while we have shared our stories with one another and collectively created entirely new ones, we are, all 757 of us, wholly different people with identities and idiosyncrasies and complexities that are so central to who we are and, more importantly, to who we can become. Back in the fall, as I was beginning to step into my role as co-chair of CBS Reflects, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Board, a classmate, referencing the results of the CBS Reflects annual survey, asked me about the experiences of Black women on this campus. Specifically, he asked why, compared to most other students, Black women felt largely out of place and less satisfied with their experience at CBS. At first, exasperated, I brushed off his question, eager to move along with my day. Truthfully, despite having these conversations constantly, I often become paralyzed by them because I am hesitant to speak on behalf of all Black women, because I am afraid of losing nuance in these discussions, and because I am more afraid still of encountering someone who is dead set on discounting how I feel. But to my surprise, he politely pressed on. He did not shy away from the tension or from the mounting emotion as our conversation evolved. He held my narrative alongside his, and he delved deeper, respectfully peeling back the layers of my experience. He did not poke or prod or question with the intent of discounting. Quite the opposite. He listened, and I tried to do the same. In that moment, we realized that his truth and my truth could coexist, that our realities, though different, were equally valid. Not because our experience is his as a white Italian guy from Jersey and mine as a black lesbian from Mississippi were even remotely similar, or because we agreed on everything, but because we realized that no one voice, neither his nor mine, held all the answers. In the process, in pushing through the discomfort and finding those small moments of connection, we emerged 3 hours after first starting our discussion with a better framework for thinking about how our differences could feel more like similarities. Sometimes those moments of empathy, of reaching across gulfs of difference, they happen just like that. And sometimes they happen in the nooks and crannies and those fleeting, intangible moments. During the spirited conversation at a supper club, or in the thunderous applause after a classmate shares a piece of their story, a piece of themselves during their CBS Matters. It happens in the hushed, muted whispers of support when passing each other in our beloved Uris Hall. And sometimes it happens quickly, loudly, as jarring as a clap of thunder that awakens you as if from a bad dream. It happens when we together as a community must confront and re-examine head-on how we think about sexual respect and community citizenship on this campus. It happens when we suddenly, unexpectedly lose a classmate, and together we mourn for everything we knew about him and for all of the individual pieces and stories of him that we loved. Believe me when I say, there is power, so much power, in simply existing in spaces that were not built for you. From that comes an opportunity to recreate them, to break them down, to shake them up, and to rebuild them so that they are for you. Or better yet, as my classmate did, you can seek to better understand so that you can help build those spaces for other people as well. When we leave this place, we will all be in positions of power and privilege, regardless of whether you, like me, grew up from humble Southern beginnings or whether you grew up from wealthy metropolitan ones. You will have the opportunity and the responsibility to ask not what you can take for yourself, but what you can build for others. Because business that is not grounded in empathy becomes stale and useless. It makes us more susceptible to reckless greed and arrogance. It inhibits our awareness, our judgments, and perhaps most frightening of all to me, it inhibits our imaginations. It risks making us more of a liability than an asset. I am so glad that our capacity for learning is not static, that what we think we know now, even after reading hundreds of cases and after traveling thousands of miles over the past 2 years, is not all that we are capable of learning or all that we are capable of unlearning. Just as we have conceived of new companies, of new clubs, of new initiatives here on this campus, as we leave this place, we are also free to reconceive and reimagine what it means to be a business leader who engages with others, with each other, with empathy, with understanding, and with perspective. to be someone who gives acknowledgement devoid of judgment, to be someone who suspends preconceptions, which are more often than not misconceptions, to be someone who does not deny, deflect, or diminish the thoughts and concerns of others as foreign or as distant as they may seem. No, I am quite bullish about our future. I count myself among the eternal optimists, forever believing in the unbounded empathy of the human heart, forever believing in our ability to recognize that our realities and thus our futures are inexorably intertwined with those around us, forever believing that the strongest currency that we will ever hold or exchange is our capacity to be kind with each other and to listen to each other. Forever believing that all of us, all 757 of us, are collective shareholders of this experience, tasked not with creating value just for ourselves, but for creating value for everyone else as well. I stand here today forever believing that to engage with empathy, to lead with empathy, to actively seek out new, different, and often uncomfortable perspectives that contort, that shift, that reframe our lives, that is to ultimately profit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Briana, for your thoughtful and powerful message to your peers. Briana Sadler. Good morning, class of 2019. I am pleased to start our presentation of faculty and staff awards. I'm pleased to present two student-nominated awards, the Robert W. Lear Award and the Singvi Prize for Scholarship in the Classroom. These two awards reflect the values of inclusion and recognition within the Columbia Business School community. The first is the Robert W. Lear Service Award. The Lear Award is nominated by the student body and presented to a faculty member or administrator for the service to the students above and beyond the call of duty. This year's award recipient is Professor Bruce Usher. He doesn't know I'm actually going to say a few words about him, so I'm going to embarrass him while he stands. Professor Usher masterfully walks students through productive discussions on complicated topics such as carbon offsets and deforestation. He has command of the classroom and keeps people engaged by conveying the urgency of problems that may sometimes feel far off. He also takes time to get to know students, their names, and their interests. Professor Usher teaches through personal experience and practice as a leader in impact investing space and has a deep commitment to making the world a better place through his leadership of the Tamer Center for Social Enterprise. He also co-led the very popular and eye-opening course, Bridging the American Divide. Please join me in congratulating Professor Bruce Usher. The next award is the Singvi Prize for Scholarship in the Classroom. The Singvi Prize is nominated by graduating students and is awarded to a full-time faculty member who exemplifies excellence in the classroom based on his or her dedication to teaching and ability to communicate knowledge and encourage students. This year's recipient is Professor Todd Jick. Verbatim feedback from students. Professor Jick is a familiar face for all students since we learned in orientation how we can push ourselves to thoroughly evaluate and defend our reasoning. If you are lucky enough to take his class, you walk away with lessons on culture and restructuring that can help in all industries. He gets to know students and commands the classroom. He always asks you to bring your A game. He's also a jokester who knows how to strike the balance for restless MBA students. You all said this, not me. Professor Jick is also a great citizen in the Columbia Business School community. He is a master classroom facilitator. He builds incredibly strong relationships, and as a matter of fact, I think he's currently overseeing 5 independent studies. Professor Jick also led a Chazen course to Israel and also co-led the Bridging the American Divide with Professor Usher. Please join me in congratulating Professor Todd Jick. Excuse me. As we conclude the faculty awards, I'd like to take a moment to just thank one more faculty member, and that's Dean Hubbard. As you all know, after 15 years of serving as Dean of the Business School, Glenn, I can call you Glenn, we're friends. Glenn will be stepping down at the end of June. So as you all walk across the stage and he shakes your hand, this will be his last graduation as Dean of Columbia Business School. Thank you for teaching entrepreneurial finance, not finance. Thank you for raising the profile of Columbia Business School. Thank you for the hundreds and thousands of miles you have logged, traveling the US and the world, raising money for financial aid and the ever-elusive Manhattanville, coming to a campus near you in January of 2022. Thank you for supporting the best and brightest faculty, staff, and students. Thank you for hiring me to be the Dean of Students. I have a few more gray hairs, but I am grateful for the opportunity to work with the best team in the Office of Student Affairs and the best students on the planet. Last but not least, from Follies past, present, and future, thank you, Dean Hubbard, Glenn, Hubby, Hubs, for always being such a great sport. And as you Glexit, we thank you for your unwavering support and dedication to students and the entire CBS community. I am pleased to continue the award presentation by recognizing the students and recipients for Community and Service Awards. Columbia Business School is proud to recognize the recipients of the following: the New York City Alumni Award, given to a student in the top 10% of their class on the basis of exceptional academic achievement, outstanding character, participation in school affairs, and potential for civic, business, and professional leadership. This year's New York Alumni recipient is Evan Einstein. The Heffernan Award for Service is given to graduating students who served the school behind the scenes and contributed to the academic standards, operations, spirit, and integrity of the business school. These awards are selected by the administration. The Business School Service Award, Student Service Award, honoring students who have made outstanding contributions to business school's community as selected by the graduating class. I'll announce those next. First, the Heffernan Award for Service is presented to Bolu Adeyeye. Kristen Cummins. Jacinta James. Joe Lynch. Jerome Seo. And Katie Tasantes. Recipients for both the Heffernan Award for Service and the Business School Award are Zena Hassan, Briana Sadler, and the always happy Zach Stone. Recipients for the Business School Service Award are Raul Goyal, Sanchit Ladha, Cindy Chin, Ken Wren, Estibaliz Ruiz Gutierrez, Lindy Gould, and Jeff Silver. The remaining service awards are selected by the first-year class. The Outstanding Teaching Assistant Award is giving recognition to a student who provided outstanding skill, care, and involvement in presenting class material. This year's recipient is Divyani Katharhi. New this year is the Excellence in Tutoring Award, which is given in recognition of a student's outstanding skill, care, and involvement. Sometimes it's kill. In the tutoring program. This year's recipient is Sandra Lucia. Thanks, Janet. Now I'd like to begin the presentation of academic awards. The following 3 awards will be presented by Professor Wei Zhang. The Amina Elliott Webster Memorial Award in Marketing. This award is presented to a graduating woman who has shown overall academic excellence in the area of marketing. This year's recipient is Charlotte Porter. The Eli Ginsberg Memorial Prize Award is presented annually to a graduating student who has done outstanding work in the fields of economics or human resources. This year's recipient, come on down, is Bora Heplerer Urardi. Man, he was excited about economics this year. The Suresh Balaraman Prize, this award is presented annually to a graduating student who has demonstrated outstanding work in the field of finance. This year's recipient is Catherine Bedkowski. Now, presented by Professor Penman, the Robert and Jacqueline Whillans Tax Research Project Award. This award is presented for superior skills in the area of tax theory and practice or research. This year's recipient is Lauren Schmier. Also presented by Professor Penman, the Robert H. Montgomery Prize in Accounting. This award is presented for excellence in the area of accounting. This year's recipient is Mark Coates. Presented by Professor Todd Jick, the award for academic excellence in decision, risk, and operations. This award is presented annually to a graduating student who has demonstrated outstanding work in the field. This year's recipient is Venkata Amrithar LaRue. I say it right? All right. Also presented by Professor Todd Jick, the award for academic excellence in management. This award is presented annually to a graduating student who is demonstrating outstanding work in the field. This year's recipient is Zachary Gober. Presented by Professor Bruce Usher are two award recipients for the Nathan Ganser Prize for Social Enterprise. This award is presented annually to graduating students who best demonstrate leadership and dedication to social enterprise and who have made outstanding contributions to the community at Columbia Business School and beyond. This year's recipients are Colette Soloff, and Carly Roth. Also presented by Professor Bruce Usher is the Schumann Hubert Award in Marketing. This award is presented annually to a graduating student with an outstanding record in the study of marketing and who shows promise for future contributions to the field. This year's recipient is Gina Wang. And lastly, I would like to welcome Peter Liang, a Columbia Alumni Association board member and a CBS alum from the class of 2008, to the stage to present the Campbell Award. This award is presented annually to a graduating student at each school who shows exceptional leadership and Columbia spirit as exemplified by the late Bill Campbell, who is Chair Emeritus, University Trustee, and outstanding alumnus, and CAA co-founder. This year's recipient is Josh Barrett. It is now my great pleasure to introduce your student government co-presidents to begin their remarks. First up is Lindy Gould, who will be followed by Jeff Silver.
Thank you so much, Zalon. It's an honor to stand up here with you today. 2 years ago, I drove to this campus for my Columbia MBA orientation. I was terrified. I remember sobbing, begging my husband, Willie, to turn back. My imposter syndrome felt insurmountable. What was I thinking going for an MBA? I was a middle school teacher. Worse yet, I was a theater major. But I came to business school because I believe that business leaders have a unique role to play in changing our world for the better. Reducing poverty, curtailing climate change, and creating a more just and equitable society. But how could I do any of these things if I didn't feel confident enough to survive in a world of cool business people? That's you guys. And then I met you. My astronauts, ballers, my captains, my dinos, my entertainers, fireballs, gladiators, hippies, my extra spicy, yeehaw, and zombies. The most passionate, brilliant, thoughtful, diverse group of people I could have ever hoped to encounter. You quickly taught me that I wasn't alone. Each of you brought your own insecurities and strengths to our shared experiences. And more than that, each of you had some unique way that you were planning to also make the world a more positive place. The world that we are graduating into is not an easy one. Professor Todd Jick, our change management expert and today's recipient of the Singvi Prize for Scholarship in the Classroom, calls it a VUCA world. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. A Columbia MBA of the past might have been able to pick a career and hold it for life. For us, the very jobs we just spent 2 years recruiting for might not exist in a decade. But Professor Jick encourages us not to panic. Instead, we should ride these waves and help write the next chapter of management leadership. So let's make this next chapter of leadership one that harks back to why so many of us came here in the first place: to improve this world for all people. And if you doubt your ability to influence the world in a positive way, ask some of the friends and family who came here today to see you graduate. They came here because they know the world needs visionary, inclusive, socially minded leaders, and they are betting on you to be one of them. So, class of 2019, here are 3 ways that we can all commit to be those visionary leaders and ultimately leave this world a better place than we found it. First, rather than fearing change, let's run towards it. We've already driven change at CBS as club presidents, on cluster boards, as teaching assistants and tutors, as members of the Student Government Executive Board, in internships, and more. Now it's time for us to go out and drive that same change in the world. Let's also step up to the challenge of continually remembering the people whose lives are affected by our leadership. Living in New York and attending an Ivy League institution, it can be easy for us to lose sight of the people and families who are most affected by our decisions to acquire and disrupt and expand into new markets. Let's be those leaders that remember the factory owner, the factory worker, and the small business owner, and their kids and communities when you make decisions that are good for business, but also respect the dignity and livelihood of all people. Second, let's get involved in the public discourse. One of my favorite classes here at CBS was Modern Political Economy, taught by Professor Ray Horton. Yeah, we all like that class. The purpose of this class is to help MBA students understand, predict, adapt to, and shape the world around us. Because if we don't, other people will, and not necessarily in our best interests or society's best interests. So let's take Professor Horton's remarks to heart and get involved civically. This can mean doing pro bono consulting work, like Matt McConnell's work with the National Park Service. Teaching business skills, like entrepreneurship and financial literacy, to those who most stand to benefit, like Doran Co., Kenny Thompson, Martan Rebko, and Amelia Mudson's work with women who are incarcerated at Taconic Correctional Facility. Raising money for important causes, like Kristen Cummings' hike of the Grand Canyon to raise money for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Campaigning for political candidates with strong people-oriented values, like Stella Binkovich. Or perhaps one day, even running for office ourselves. Finally, take advantage of the potential for business to be a force for social good. I asked some of you the ways in which you've seen business do practical, sustainable good over the last 2 years, and here's what you said. Catherine Bergstrom said, at Columbia, I had the opportunity to participate in a course called Bridging the American Divide, which brought 26 CBS students to Youngstown, Ohio, to learn about the challenges facing this post-manufacturing region. In Youngstown, I saw firsthand how business leaders were collaborating with city leaders and civilians to fight for the revitalization and well-being of their town. Celine Tarrant said, I'm committed to protecting our planet by integrating sustainable, eco-friendly practices into our businesses. So I took on an in-semester internship at a startup focused on plastic reduction within cleaning supplies. And John Christopher said, over winter break of this year, I was honored to bring 11 of my classmates from 5 different countries to visit the Oda Foundation, a nonprofit I founded that focuses on providing health and education services to marginalized communities in Nepal. I'm inspired by my classmates who regularly look beyond their own self-interests to ensure that they, as future business leaders, understand and engage with the challenges in our world. Each of you has your own story like this. And I'm so inspired by how we as a community are thinking about business leadership as something that gives rather than takes. I am confident that we are going to disrupt business itself, making it a consistent force for social good. Before I came to Columbia, I didn't think I could change the world. I didn't think I was smart enough, experienced enough, or confident enough. But because of the last 2 years and what I've seen you all accomplish already, I now know it's possible for me and for each of you. And I especially know it's possible because the biggest change from August 20th, 2017 to today, May 19th, 2019, is that now we have each other as resources, future colleagues, and lifelong friends. We came to CBS to be changed, and now it's our time to be the change makers. Class of 2019, let's go change the world. Thank you. Thank you. And now I am so excited to introduce you all to my co-president. Here at CBS, we don't run on a slate with another president, so we were elected separately, and I did not know this man before I was elected. But I can honestly say I could not have asked for a better counterpart, email editor, person to say, Lindy, let's just slow down and think about this for a second, human in the entire world. So please join me in welcoming my dear friend, Jeff Silver.
Lindy, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege to serve this year with you. Class of 2019. Over the last 2 years, we've learned how to leverage BATNAs and analyze income statements. We've built professional networks and lifelong relationships. And most importantly, in the words of Rachel Wasser, our Instagrams are far better than when we arrived at school. Despite our diverse interests and perspectives, there's one universal activity that all CBS students have practiced: small talk. What are you recruiting for? Where are you from? Are you going to a rugby happy hour tonight? Oh, and what are you recruiting for again? Yes, we've had a lot of small talk, but here at CBS, we've also had a lot of big talk, deep talk, real talk. Big talk is the authenticity and vulnerability you find in CBS Matters. It's showing up to a randomly assigned supper club and staying until 3 a.m. because no one wants to leave. It's going on a Chazen trip or PSL retreat with a few people you know and coming back best friends, and with 8 new Venmo requests. Big talk at CBS has taught me 2 main things. First, hearing others' stories expands our capacity for empathy. It improves our understanding of others' diverse perspectives as well as our own lives. I think about Sarah Wynn's school-wide CBS Matters, her story about growing up in Vietnam with her entire family living in a single tiny room. How cultural pressures of gender roles spurred Sarah to fight for a better life and pursue education opportunities in Finland. I think about my global immersion in Ghana and hearing how much it meant to Lancelot Drummons to consult for he's worthy of all that. How much it meant to Lancelot Drummons to consult for a thriving company whose entire leadership team was black, something that he, a black man himself, had never experienced. Big talk has made me see how everyone has stories, and even with all the super impressive people here, everyone has scars. In turn, CBS has empowered me to take ownership of my own story. How the absence of a father has led me to gravitate towards male mentors. How during high school, I moved out of my house to live with a faculty couple. And how my past leads me to embrace community and team-oriented settings, whether walking onto the football team in college or joining the rugby club here at CBS. I've learned that to be successful leaders, we must first understand the great and challenging parts of ourselves and each other. Second, the process of engaging with big talk, sharing ourselves with one another, fosters relationships and transformative connections. It leads to my spending Christmas at Michael Paranik's house, where his family made me my first ever personalized stocking. It leads to me standing beside Miles Bloom as the best man at his wedding next spring. So what is it about CBS that fosters this depth of engagement? It starts with a culture of support. Psychological research refers to this as sense of belonging. Think about our first day of orientation. As I walked past Low Library right behind me and turned the corner towards Uris Hall, I could hear CBS before I could see it. The growing sounds of clapping, cheering, hollering. Is this where I'm going? Then hordes of dancing blue polos burst into sight, welcoming us to our new home. Cheering set the tone for a CBS experience of encouragement and inclusion. In fact, during orientation, we were instructed how to cheer. Who's the best? Let's XXXXX. I had arrived. Now, on our last day, it seems only fitting that once again we'll be walking upstairs, this time up this platform, and with a better background, I might add, again to the sounds of cheering. It's hard to top the enthusiasm of peer advisor extraordinaire Zach Stone, leading the charge on the megaphone, slapping high fives, and singing Taylor Swift. I can see he's ready to join in right now. But today, the cheering will be amplified by our families and supporters in the crowd, those who have seen us far less over the last 2 years than we've seen our cluster mates, career advisors, and boxes of Stroko's pizza. Yet those here today, in many ways, were always with us, and were often the subject of those big talk conversations. You're a part of our stories as we are part of yours. Thank you for being here. While at CBS, we've gained more than just pounds and free pizza and happy hour drinks. In the spirit of Big Talk, I asked classmates what they will miss most about this place. Rahul Goyal said, "The ease and frequency with which a quick hi turned into a meaningful and deep conversation." I promise I didn't tell him to say that. Stian Gula said, "Hearing people share deep and personal stories at CBS matters and frequent opportunities to do things outside of my comfort zone." For full disclosure, Stian also provided, unprompted, a list of things that he will not miss, including Eurosteli, FOMO, and trying to find a time for group meetings with second years. My favorite response came from Cluster Chair Arjur Sukumaran. "What I'll miss most about CBS," Arjun said, "is seeing classmates turn into job hunters, turn into happy hour legends, turn into CBS Matters softies, turn into late night karaoke abominations, turn into best friends, all within a 24-hour span." In the spirit of Arjun, let's move forward. And we all know what that means. In the spirit of Arjun, let's move forward and continue to reap the rewards of Big Talk. Let's push through the first minutes about the weather and delays on the 1 train to ask each other what really matters. Let's go forward with that same attitude of support. And just like on that first day of orientation, let's continue to cheer for one another up these stairs today and out into the world. Class of 2019, congratulations.
Thank you, Lindy and Jeff, both for your remarks and for your leadership and partnership this year. I hope you know you leave CBS better than you found it, and I'm really proud to have worked with you. As we move to start to the recognition of our candidates, I'd like to take a few minutes to honor a beloved classmate. In November 2018, Cluster A and the entire CBS family lost a wonderful human being in Eugene Bike. Losing anyone is hard, but losing a student and someone so young is absolutely heartbreaking. But I saw this community come together to support his family and one another. Today, I want you to all remember your brother Eugene, a brother who was a loving husband, a doting father, a friend, and a very proud and active A astronaut. He was smart, he was a passionate entrepreneur, a caring and giving tutor, but most importantly, he was thoughtful and he was kind. And we will forever hold his memory dear. Please join me for a moment of silence in loving memory of Eugene Bike. Thank you, Eugene. We will carry your memory and spirit with us today and forever. Thank you all so much. And we will now begin our presentation of candidates.
Now presenting Cluster A. Ehsan Abazadeh. Sakshi Agarwal. Juan Pablo Altamirano. Taiza Alvim. Maria Febelido Damert. Catherine Bergstrom. Jonathan Buns. Alan Chen. Saite Chen. Daniel Child. Sam Cialik. Ann Corey All. Alexander Algava Chick. Anisha Das. Marcelo Deschamps. Spencer Flazier. Dana Glicksberg. Kimberly Goll. Seth Goldwasser. Hannah Heighton. Setawat Hetrakul. Jade Hu. Andrea Hubert. Julianne Hummelberg. Chris Young. Nivedita Kohli. David Jacob Koladzik. Rohan Kumar. Edwin Lee. Joycerin Lee. Winter Lee. Paul Light. Gloria Long. Joe Meyer. Michelle McCauley. Philip Meyer. Sachi Nakano. Tai Ha Nguyen. Carolyn Haley Novas. Monrat Piamratanawang. Tarin Podar. Evan Rapkin. Brian Richmond. Gregory Roberson. Aldo Scanoni. Sam Shin. Ryan Snyder. Eleanor Tadani. Jenny Thapa. Ege Turkeri. Garnet Vaney. Carlos VR. Monica Vinuelas Abarca. Lauren Warsawski. Christopher Wells. Catherine Williams Bridge. Now presenting Cluster B. Chi Achebe. Ashley M. Allen. Michael Allison. Alyssa Aiden. Nissan Eigen. Jeffrey Burke. Ishan Bhatia. Stella Binkovich. Stephen Chow. Camila Bueno Cardozo. Ankit Chada. Mark Shamas. Vedika Chala, Ryder Cleary, Jeffrey Cooper, Elena Cortez, Patricia Craig, Alex Freed, Andrew Githens, Jaime Gomeza, Elizabeth F. Goodstein, Belle Gu, J.C. Hay, Simone Hill, Allison Horton, Pil Sun Huang, Lucy M. Jackson, David Cow, Josh Keeman, Pooja A. Cowley, Georgie Kuprashvili, Eric Lee, Shu Lin, Scott Lindstone, Pedro Machado, Jillian McPherson, Desmond McCowan, James McNeil, Alexandra Milstein, Santiago Molteni, Alexandra Morgan Welch, Amanda Nee, Kelly O'Connor, Shivam Papu, Elizabeth Pasanante, Daniel Pesic, Luis Fernando Preti, Ethan Schmidt, Jill Scovener, Aishwarya Sharma, Anjalika Singh, Mark Andrew Skinner, Matthew Stevenson, Arjun Sukumaran, Ethan Weisman, Ernesto Quinto Van Peborg, Viraj Vora, Lily Way, Elizabeth Weiland, Andrea Wyman Wang, Yuanan Zhang,
Now presenting Cluster C. Luis Guillermo Acosta. Sunil Ryan Ahuja. Cynthia Allam. Dunya Bala Subramanian. Alexandra Berry. Gabrielle Baum. Ari Berg. Sebastian Brunel Milanes. Caitlin Margaret Butler. Daniel James Castelli. Athena Cheng. Kyan Sung Chung. Christian Coates. Drew Cornell. Jessica Cui. Charlie Drain. Brendan Earl. Zachary Fury Ferguson. Zazeglin Galbadrak. William Gangware. Mariano Gonzalez Cuela Cabrera. Adam Gorin. Patrick Griffin. Chaatai Gulek. Michael Hahn. Shivani Hajela. Angelina Hu. Ruben Hadiulin. Bradford Drew Kahneman. Sebastian Latapi. Gwen Lee. Hyun Soo Lim. Cassandra Lopez. Kelly Lundy. Peter Leiden. Janelle Marte. Eric McCarthy. Jamie Marola. Natasha Nair. Brittany Ng. Achenyo Otigba. Taylor Palank. Blake Peterson. Christopher Pacerny. Lydia Quinn. Venkat Rajaraman. Clemente Reyes Ratana. Connor Ryan. Yoni Sabag. Pranay Shetty. Shara Singh. Marcus Singleton. Hunter Payne Smiley. Connor Stovall. Celine Tarrant. Chase Tucker. Peter Wong. David Way. Emily Whitaker. Ron Wu. Naama Yaheskel. Amanda Zhang. Now presenting Cluster D. Erica Abramson. Matt Ale. Joshua Andermarch. Jamshir Anklasaria. Mio Asatani. Dara Bloom. Benny Burstein. Pranav Chatra. Lisa Chen. Randall Chin. April Chai. Jose Cloutier. Anya Clifford. Mayor Cohen. Danielle Romitelli Dalacqua. Greg Doge de Speville. Hannah Dolgen. Lindley Gray Driscoll. Jillian Mercer Dudek. Matthew Ellis. Michael Flum. Kevin Yoshiaki Gallagher. Mitchell Gorodokin. Anchal Gulati. Oscar Henschel. Morgan Holmes. Keita Ito. Nick Carr. Elizabeth Kelly DeWolf. Eric Kogut. Minsu Kong. Ricardo Silveroli Corral. June Lee. Joe Lynn. Jeffrey Lothian. Benjamin McCabe. Gabriel Metzger. Will Miller. Cyrus Mojdehi. Amelia Noel Munson. Gladys Amelia Ndagre. Kelly O'Brien. Olufalaha Olisoga. Valentina Pardo Seguel. Alexa Pichotto. Addie Prasad. Justin Reggie. Laura Rogers. Eitan Schindelheim. Janaki Sakaran. Sid Schanbach. Brandon Shang. Brian Spiegel. Vincent Sue. Maeve Sivanidis. Naomi Tudhope. Nivedita Venkatesh. Matthew Weinberg. Jasper Wu. Frank Yodiche. Wen Chung. Sherry Juan Zhao. Now presenting Cluster E. Justine Aronoff. Daniel Bateman. Mark Benoit. Sasha Bindero. Ramon Blanco Villar. Tim Bidlin. Pedro Canales. Elisha Chen. Jim Hao Yu Chen. Arkan Chirativat. Melissa Cole. Alexis Krinkovich. Brandon Dillo. Alex Ettinger. Aquila Friend. Emma Forster. Alyssa Goldberg. Seth Goodman. Klaus Groot. Pankuri Gupta. Mesa Haddad. Eric Hersfeld. Elizabeth Hirsch. Dennis Ho. Shane Humphrey. Aditya Jain. Emily Erin Japlin. Edwin Kim. Ilshin Brian Kwok. Karen Langley. Harper Evans Leahy. Helen Lee.
Han Leo.
Shihan Liu. Genevieve Loomis. Robin Lohr. Ying Luo. Samantha Alexandra Martin. Brandon McCampbell. Vikram Menon. Mark Miller. Chad Morin. Ruchi Nanda. Amanda Nicklin. David Negri. Paul Peterson. Thirayoth Prilomkarn. Hannah Reeton. Kimberly Roberts. Brandon Rye. Jesus Salas. Miguel Sanchez de Lerin Majiques. Yosuke Sato. Hope Scott. Thigvijay Singh. Jay Stewart. Bruce Sun. Verity Sylvester. Sriram Trikutam. Florence Tai. Ander Uterga del Orden. Lisha Wang. Michael Wooten. Ling Xiao Yang. Grace Yi. Jason Yoon. Julia Zweig. Now presenting Cluster F. Yoon An. Rodrigo Ailing. Aditi Bhatia. Arthur Brousseau. Tommy Chan. Andy Sen Chow. Menjen Chen. Natalia Christensen. Terry Cunningham. Ryan Derone. Chris Denon. Niti Deras. Max Esteves. Caroline Brooke Friedman. Gagan Gecker. Fabian Gong. Elizabeth Bruber. Victoria Gu. Brad Headley. Matthew Hockhauser. Cyrus Huang. Jingjing Huang. Alexandrina Ivanova. Alexander Kossi. Andrew Lagoo. Natalie Lamb. Sean Lim. Justin Lipton. Allison Taylor Lisnow. Thomas Liu. Sarah Long. Greg Marvin. Matthew McConnell. Kyle McGuire. Diana Thompson McCaig. Catherine McKenna. Ariel Merrick. Shruti Nayak. Kenny O'Brien. Ji Wan O. Kendall Parker Joseph. Ranieri Parteno di Montecupo. Jeanette Paulino. Christopher Perkins. Adam Clayton Powell. Catherine Princess Valley. Jorge Ramirez. Solomon Ravitch. Jody Rosenzweig. Seth Rubin. Austin Shaw. Samantha Smith. Jack Spitzen. Candace Sue. Gian Anton. Elena Venkova. Shreya Gandhi Vora. Irene Wang. Max Wong. Lee West. Caroline Whitmer. David Zhang. Daniela Zuluaga. Now presenting Cluster G. Alexandra Curran Abingdon. Thomas Amaral. Dimple Bonso. Brendan Barnwell. Jane Bielenson. Maria Natalia Bondanza. Kevin Brennis. David Chow. Guillermo Chapman. Michael Cherry. John Christopher. Anthony Colbert. Beth Aaron Connolly. Sheila DeVay. Andrew Doherty. Munk Aryun Gontumor. Anastasia Gordon. Rebecca Greenberg. Mukul Gupta. Charlie Hanna. Chris Huang. Daniel Hussein. Sonia Im. Elena Ivanova. Asher Jacobs. Mark Jung. Pirapong Jitnamplang. James Krasker. Chun Lee. Jay Lee. Tammy Lin. Hongbo Liu. Kristen Marie London. John Malloy. Angela Antoniette McAtee. Neatlin McGrath. Brooke Ashley Miller. Stephanie Alicia McCalman. Mark Mosby. Alexander Denuncio Marachi. Miriam Mosny. Rebecca Ashley Nathan. Leah O. Ondrej Paul. Leeds Pierce. John Plaisted. Preston Poon. Naveen Qureshi. Gabby Redondo. Chris Robichaud. Oliver Salman. Michelle Zishen. Anand Sachidanandam. Michael Stern. Alexi Thomas. Mandy Tong So. Andrew Tsukamoto. Tim Turdukalov. Akanksha Vasudeva. Francisco Ventura. Monica Villar. John White. Ling Ye. Patrick Yee. Jake Xu. Now presenting Cluster H. Courtney Andrews. Taka Asta. Nellie Beach. Gilly Bergman. Melody Bickersteth. Vikram Bishnoi. Peter Brown. Jishin Tsai. Jesus Cuchet Valles. Aaron Allen Kanarslan. Rachel Chase. Sufong Thon. Lancelot Drummonds. Alexander Cherner. Jess Cole. Haley Nicole Cox. Shai Gazenfeld. Sid Ghosh. Jessica Gimbel. Alexander Golden. Marie Lillian Haub. Charlotte Hay. Dawn Holder. Allison Buckman Hunter. Prabhay Joshi. Nadia Koso. Adam Kurbitz. Jessica Langman. Jesse Laurish. Howard Lee. Alijan Lijeoglu. Wei Lin. Patrick Manning. Allison McCarty. Ryan John McKenna. Stephen Molino. Nikolai Muhin. Anna Murholi. Jose Lorenzo Osmeña. Andres Piloski. Samara Pollock. Rana Pritanjali. Corey Pratt. Danny Rotpojenico. Suzanne Riazi. Gregory Reeves. Peter Rowell. Bennett Rosnick. Robert H. Schaus. Dave Shaker. Shengyang Shi. Ankit Shubham. Rubab Singh. Patrick Sofin. Jane Dorsey Taylor. Sachit Tuli. Claudia Verdes Flo. Marshall Verdi. Christine Wang. Ra-Young Wong. Robert Stephen Weiser. Elizabeth Wills. Wilson Young. Yan Annie Zhang.
Now presenting Cluster X. Se Yun An. Carla Bayer. Alexander Berkemeyer. Miles Bloom. Arthur Burrett. Sean Kai. Sing Yu Chen. Young Mo Cho. Taylor Christmas. Joseph Chan. Patricia Inez de Carvalho Barros Larcher e Ovidio. Gautier Denoyela. Rahul Darmani. Tim Donovan Jr. Christian Etchar. Jessica French. Guillermo Garado Leca. Sana Hamani. Margaret Hung. Harrison Carden. Meredith Kernan. Harsh Kemka. Yogesh Kumar. Francine Lee. Matthew Lee. Gemma Lim. Federico Espina Lopez. Luis Ferdinand Mann. Bennett Mayrock. Patrick McGee. Chadi Mubarak, Sarah Nguyen, Steph Otterspoor, Michael Paranik, Matthew Peterson, Thuy Phan, Monica Pinto Basto, Amy Mae Prike, Davide Pugliese, Christopher Rich Gruber, Michelle Riota, Yonella Ruca, Alessandra Sanchi, Luis Santa Cruz, Juan Rafael Supango, Bence Sabonia, Nicholas Tagger, Kenneth J. Thompson, Joseph Tom, Helena Ege Torres, Lotte Van Nicolas Vega Yona, Jackson Vicker, Regan Wallace, Lawrence Wang, Isabel Weiser, Nicholas Whitehead, Jennifer Wu, Thierry Joseph Otto Wider, Jody Chang, Brian Yangbing Zheng, Laurent Lang Liu, Thang Li, now presenting Cluster Y, Claudia Byans, Carolyn Ruth Ball, Peter Bunyaratana Kornkit, Morris Breitbart, Marjolaine Bouter, Giovanna Campagna, Gustavo Cañas, Alice Chen, Andre Zimmerman, Bradford Randolph Corbin, Kevin Cullen, Lawson Curtis, Fabio Di Gregorio, Salaman Diaz, Franklin Floyd, Kristen Forster, Jose Antonio Garcia Rosell, Nandini Garg, Amir Guy, David Goldberg, Dion Gullah, Molly Farrow Hart, Chihiro Hashimoto, Rohan Hegde, Riley Hine, Alexandra Hoyer, Albert Jiang, Jeffrey Johnson, Manissa Kurdvang Bundit, Kyle Jae Hyun Ko, Jake Lauer, Chung Hyun Lee, Barbara Machado, Craig Massey, Elizabeth Matthew.
No, you'll have these people who don't know any better. They're really white. They're like, oh, I'm going to get tan. And they'll just...
Julian
No,
Medlage.
they wind up in the emergency room, literally. No,
Eric Morden. Corey Moser. Omer Molek. Soham Narang. Chirag Patel. Mark Poon. Julia Christina Rybelt. Martine Repko. Amy Rowe. Agatha Ronsi. Daniel Gary Rubin. Mariana Ruiz. Anam Sararangani. Allison Shear. Andrew Selke. Marek Slobodnik. Dana Smolian. Kyle Textor. Tatatai Tamrang Navasawat. Nick Say. Cameron Willard. Siwei William Shu. Chloe Shang. Jaime Alfonso Zobel de Ayala. Thomas P. Zoller.
So, yeah. Oh, I've had blistering sunburn.
Now presenting Cluster Z. Sarah Adler. Sydney On. Nisha Balwani. Jacopo Bellini. Allison Callahan. Lorenzo Casalini. Ilaria Catozzi. Eli Charbel. Abhinav Dingra. Thoe Ding. Carlos Dominguez Lantigua. Yvette Drumaga. Dami Epke. Anthony L. Asmar. Dane Elihu. Lodovico Ferrario. Sammy Foda. Xue Qinggao. Sophia Gadamian. Maxwell Glassman. Robbie Griffin. Christian Guillermo. Kyle Hartman. Parisa Hamadi. Wook Wang. Ashish Jain. Logan Jeffs. Umpat Tim Kongbunma. Angelica Koromvoki. Nick Kumar. Claire Lancer. Rebecca Levin. Kevin Chufei Liu. Yosiahu Mishan Betesh. Annabelle Morgan. Jacob Moe. Arun Nagabairava. Urvi Napani. Federico Hoffman. Christopher Pasico. Taylor Pierce. Jose Luis Pinto Basto. Alexandra Rashinina. Kavan Reddy. Insa Remgens. Gustavo Santos. Anna McKenty Schiller. Ben Schnitzer, Jamie Schwartz, Antonio Secamandi, Raghav Seth, Juan Jose Silva Sharma, Ananya Shrikant, Pavan Surabi, Ron Tate, Anand Krishna Tamarisi, Mercury Tin, Daniel Joseph Tonkovich, Paul Trenti, Borja Urtasun, Chelsea Wang, Yuan Hao Wang, Shirley Wang, Tom Wethington, James Walker Warehouser, Florence Wijaya, Andre Zukim Levy. Now presenting award recipients.
Evan Einstein. Bolu Adeyeye. Kristen Ames Cummings.
Jacinta James.
Joseph Lynch.
Doran Sio. Catherine DeSantis.
Zena Hassan.
Zachary Stone. Rahul Goyal. Sanchit Lada. Cindy Chin. Ken Wren.
Estibaliz Ruiz.
Divyani Kotari.
Sandra Lucia.
Charlotte Ann Schumacher Porter.
Bora Herperler Uriarty. Catherine Bedkowski.
Lauren Schmier.
Mark Coates.
Venkata Amarta Luru.
Zachary Gober. Colette Solaf. Carly Roth.
Tina Wang. Joshua Barrett.
Now presenting stage participants. Briana Sadler. Lindy Gould.
Jeffrey Silver.
Let's give everybody another big round of applause. I am perfectly aware that I am now all that stands between you and a reception with your friends and family, so I will be brief. Just two things. One, a message from me, and another, a message for you. Message from me is to paraphrase General MacArthur that old deans never die. They don't even fade away. So I look forward to seeing you at events for Columbia and in your lives in the future. You mean the world to me and to this institution. Message for you. I'm confident that as you were preparing to come here today, when you expressed your dream to somebody, probably one of those somebodies expressed some skepticism that the world going forward is not so bright. I want you to tell those people to go to Cathedral City, California, and read Frank Sinatra's tombstone, because it says what I think for you, and what I think for Columbia Business School. It's really simple. The best is yet to come. Congratulations, class of 2019. To friends and family, the graduates and the stage participants are going to recess toward Ansel Plaza. Please wait for them and then follow them. If you don't know where Ansel Plaza is, and I'm sure you don't, just watch one guy in red and hundreds in blue and you'll get there. Congratulations.
Again, family and friends on the east side of the lawn, we ask that you please wait for the graduates to exit before exiting your seating area. Those of you on the west side of the lawn, we ask that you please exit promptly so we may prepare for our next ceremony. Please be sure to join us on Ansel Plaza for our reception. Thank you. Summertime.